polls now are just being used as another tool of voter suppression. The polls are an attempt to not reflect public opinion, but to shape it. Yours. I want to depress the heck out of you.
Suppress the vote. But that's the Republicans' job. For more on the story, I'm joined by Mayor Marc Morial, president of the National Urban League and a tremendous voice in the fight against voter suppression. Mayor comes to us from New York. So great to have you inside the war room tonight.
Hey, I'm great to be with you, Governor. Congratulations on the show and congratulations on the strength of your voice.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. It's all of us blending our voices together. Maybe we can get something done. So are you encouraged by the high number of Democratic voters that we're actually seeing coming out to vote today, like in Iowa?
I'm encouraged that the effort to suppress the vote is backfiring across the nation, because I think high voter turnout early in Iowa is certainly an indication that people are taking democracy seriously and that they want to participate in this election. We've been energizing people across the nation to oppose these efforts to suppress the vote, but also to encourage people not to be deterred, frustrated, intimidated, or harassed by any of this, and to get out and vote.
Well, in fact, you wrote about bullies at the ballot box. So tell us exactly what you meant by that. Who is bullying, Governor, and how's that happening?
This quote that True the Vote wants people to vote as though the police are in their rearview mirror.
Now, describe that for a second, because I haven't, I mean, people who've been watching this show know that, but if somebody's just
people may be watching. True the Vote is an effort that is underway to, quote, protect voter integrity. At least that's the stated purpose. But the real purpose, we think, is to harass and intimidate voters all across the nation. Their statement has been, we want people to vote as though the police are in their rearview mirror. In other words, it's really a threat to people in their exercise of their democratic right. So we're out there, the National Urban League is, in a nonpartisan way, in states across the nation, working at the grassroots level with phone banks, with social media, encouraging people to participate, registering people, and informing them about changes in voting laws, while allies of ours are fighting voter suppression laws in the courts in states across the nation.
Right, and we're going to talk about that in 1 second. True the Vote, of course, for our viewers, is an entity that has been supported by a lot of the right-wing organizations that we have fought on this show, including the Koch brothers and others, funded by some of those entities that want to limit access to the ballot by voters they think are not favorable to Republicans. The National Urban League Policy Institute has actually found that African-American voters in a number of key states hold the key to the outcome of the 2012 election. Tell us about that.
Well, Governor, we achieved as a nation something remarkable in 2008. We achieved turnout parity, meaning whites and African Americans turned out at the very same percentage level. A slippage in that turnout parity, if you will, a lower African American turnout in states like Ohio, Virginia, and the state of North Carolina could in fact affect the outcome of the election in a dramatic way, because the margins were indeed so close. And African American voters are a very important part of the voting bloc in places like northeastern Ohio, in places like throughout the state of Virginia, and certainly in North Carolina. So many people have a focus on those states, and we released that report because sometimes we think there's a certain, narrow perception of who swing voters are. Elections are not only who people will vote for, but who will come out to vote. And that's why so much of our effort is about ensuring high voter turnout all across the board.
That is an interesting and important way of redefining what a swing voter is, or what the type of voter is who could swing the election is. The Urban League actually initiated an Occupy the Vote campaign earlier this year. And is that what you hope to accomplish with that, is to get people to make it easier for them to get to the polls?
Governor, we announced today, in effect, a 40-day blitz from now until the election to try to register as many people, to try to mobilize as many people, to try to ensure that as many people as possible get to the polls. We're using social media, phone banks, volunteers any and everywhere. People can go to occupythevote2012.org and connect to our election center. It is there that they'll be able to find out information about voting laws in all 50 states. It's there where they can join our Freedom Fighter campaign, sign up and be a part of this effort so that they can not only make sure that they are qualified and prepared to vote, but also they can help their friends and family do it. We have got to protect democracy. A great nation like ours that's always had voting as a hallmark of its system cannot allow the hands of time to be turned back when it comes to access to the ballot box. So this election is important, but this election is important because we've got to send a message to all of those vote suppressors that we're not going to stand it, we're not going to take it, and we're going to resist it at every turn.
Well, you have said it all right there. That's Marc Morial, president of the National Urban League, on the importance of getting out to vote and making yourself heard. Thank you so much for joining us inside the War Room.
Thanks, Governor.
You bet.